DJ Small with Slingin Dirt Media, man. We've got a nice little treat tonight. We're doing something a little bit different. We're recording, me and Josh Chasteen, Josh from the Racing in the Bluegrass, Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass. I got half of the show with me tonight. Josh, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, half the show, man. I know. I don't know. I don't know if it would be the better half or not. Probably not, to be honest with you. Of dirt racing in the bluegrass, but yeah, man, cool to be on here and join you and just talk some racing, man. It's been a while.
It has, man. Let's just make this. We got the sign posted up. Let's just make this a dirty 30. How about that?
Yeah, that's right. We'll make it a dirty 30. It sounds good to me. I'm all about 30 minutes, keeping it short and simple
That's
is the
it.
best way for me. So yeah, let's do it.
So, man, would you have thought we're probably really close, just or maybe just past the halfway point in this season of racing, 2024? Would you think we would have the headlines that we have had so far this year?
Yeah, definitely not, man. I think this has to be the craziest year we've ever had in this sport. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, it seems like it does. It's just been
Yeah,
a wild all year from the very beginning.
it's I mean, from Huddy leaving Rocket. I mean,
Yeah,
it really seems like, I know we're in race season, but it seems like we're in the silly season, the off season.
definitely seems like silly season right here in the middle of it. And like you said, from the very beginning with Huddy leaving Rocket. I mean, I remember when I first started hearing whispers of that happening, and I was laughing it off. Like no, there's no way that's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
you
Like
guys, you
whatever,
guys are
man.
pranking or something.
Yeah, and it just hadn't stopped. And with the stuff with RTJ, and then you see that, and I thought, like, is it
Hmm.
April Fools? Like when that. No, we're well beyond that. So just crazy stuff.
I mean, and the other things we have. I mean, the whole thing with Tiregate. I mean,
Hmm.
it was like, what is going on? We are seeing things. I'm seeing things in life in general, not just racing, but I'm
Yeah.
seeing things life in general that I've never seen before in
No.
my life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's true. It's not just racing. It's with a lot of things. I mean, you had an assassination attempt on a former
Yep.
president.
Yep.
Things that we haven't seen in our lifetime. Didn't think we'd ever see. With you think about all the advancements
Hmm.
and everything and technology and
Right.
everything the Secret Service has at their disposal, and a gunman who obviously wasn't a very good gunman gets within
Thank.
150 yards of the president. I
Yeah.
mean, how does that happen, man? It's just crazy. It just is.
You
It's
know
life.
what? No, I said this, and I have this. I've had this conversation, and I'm not going to turn this into a political show by any means.
Yeah.
But I have friends. I have some friends, and I have family that don't politically believe the same way I do. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're still friends, and they're still family, and we're still going to get along, and we're going to move on. I don't wish
Sure.
anybody dead just because they see something politically different. I,
Yeah.
that blows my mind. Whatever, whatever.
I know.
Um, I've never seen a president drop out of running for office.
No.
It's crazy.
Especially with
I
what, 3 months to go or so, less than 3 months. I don't know, something like
Yeah.
that before the election. So yeah, crazy.
Um, we talked about Tiregate. We talked about Huddy leaving Rocky. We talked about RTJ leaving SSI. And this may not be as big of a deal, but to me, it's a pretty big shocker. I would have never thought this. Right at the Dream, or the week before the Dream, we had the World of Outlaws tech inspector, Kenny Kennedy. Whatever happened there, he's now the tech inspector for the what is it, the High Limit Sprint Car Series. I'm like, that
Yeah.
just blows my mind. I've known Kenny a long time. Kenny's a diehard late model guy. I would never think that Kenny would be a sprint car working for a
Yeah.
sprint car series. This is just mind blowing.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's all mind blowing. You never know what to expect in this world we live in racing, especially when it comes to super late models.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the best, and it's sort of. I'm not gonna lie. In some ways, it sort of broke my heart to hear what I knew was reality, but to hear it come from Kenny Wallace. I don't know if you saw his video on the whole RTJ situation, but basically his what he had to say about it was super late model racing is a multi-million-dollar business. Whether you like it or not, that's what it's become.
Yep.
It's a big money operation. It's no longer uh, the blue collar thing that we all grew up and
Sure.
remember, especially as kids. It's money. Everything is about
Yep.
money. That whole situation is about money. That's what Kenny Wallace said, and I don't like to hear that, honestly, but I know that it's true.
It's true, 100%. I feel like we've kind of got uh, dirt late model racing has basically turned into what we said when we're growing up. I feel like dirt late model racing has turned into almost the NASCAR that we used to know.
Yeah,
NASCAR now it's just, that's just something different. It is not what it used to be. But
not
I
at
kind of
all.
feel like maybe dirt late model racing is now what NASCAR used to be, what we used to love about NASCAR,
Yeah.
other than the fact that it's just too damn expensive.
Yeah, just too expensive, and that's I think the scary thing. And I hear people talk about this all the time when it comes to late model racing. I heard Mark Martin not too long ago on a podcast say he said he enjoys going to dirt late model racing because it reminds him of what NASCAR used to be, as far as the way that they're able to race
Yeah.
and race each other and race side by side and all those things that NASCAR used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And then also, but hearing Kenny Wallace say that, though, it scares me to think about um, where we're headed. I mean, I love what we have right now. Don't get me wrong; it's awesome. You got 100,000 to win races. It seems
Hmm.
like 3 times a week. I know that's an exaggeration, but it seems that way.
It's every time you turn around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a big money sport, but it makes you sort of worry. Like, are we losing? Are we losing our foundation? Are we getting away from our foundation? And are we going to look up in 10 years and be NASCAR? I don't think that's what any of us want.
No, no, I hope not. I hope we're not headed in that direction where, and no offense, but I hope we're not headed where NASCAR is now by any means. I feel
Yeah,
like that's racing like on a different planet. I mean, not to even say a different level, but that's just like everything about that is just different. I don't really just don't care for it. It's just not. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I kind of grew up watching it, but that was because that's what was on Sunday. Well, now you can turn dirt late model racing on anytime you want. So I
yeah,
don't need NASCAR whatsoever. But it's just definitely not. And I hate to say it. I don't want to be one of those guys that say, "Oh well, I quit watching NASCAR when Dale died or when Stewart
yeah.
retired. That did it for me." And you think about where the sport was at those times. It's different now.
Sure it is. Well, I think the biggest thing is like you think about NASCAR back during those days, and I listen to the Dale Jr. Download a lot just because he has a lot of the old guys on there and stuff. You get to hear their stories about what it was like when they raced and how they got started and all those things. Well, I mean, NASCAR was always a blue collar sport.
Right.
You had guys like Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, all those guys. I know there's several more that I just left off there, but all those
Sure.
guys were people who started out in their own shop working on their own cars, started
Hmm.
with nothing,
Yeah.
came from the bottom up, and became superstars. In NASCAR today, that's something that's not possible. You got to have millions and millions of dollars and money behind you to even be able to get a start into it. Most of these guys that are in NASCAR now, the truth is the reason we can't relate to it as well is they're not relatable to us.
Right.
And dirt late model in dirt late model racing world, part of what makes it so much fun is that these are all guys that you can walk up to in the pits, or these are all guys that you can call them up and they'll come on dirt racing in the bluegrass and talk to us, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
They're pretty cool people, ain't they?
they are. I mean, they're cool people. And that's what I don't want to get, guys like RTJ who started with nothing, worked his way up, has won in
Mhm.
everything.
Yep.
Blue collar guys.
Yeah.
It's what makes the sport what it is. And that's the part that I hope we never get away from.
The thing that scares me is something you just mentioned when you was talking about NASCAR. You talked about how the guys can be competitive. They can build their work on their own cars in their own shops and go to the track and be competitive. The thing that scares me is like, man, are we far as dirt late model racing? How many of those guys do we have? I mean, I feel like that number's getting slimmer and slimmer. Guys that work on their own stuff. Yes, you have Pierce's that just they're kicking butt, and they own their own teams, But
Sure.
on the big levels, I mean, how many of these guys are owning their own stuff? I mean, they I'm sure they have hands on it stuff, but they're not building their own cars like they used to.
No, they're not. And I talk to people here at the local level. Uh, DJ's got a. What did you say you had there? You got the dog is unhappy, man.
The dog's not
What's
the dog's unhappy. We got a visitor coming through the house right now, and she's not liking somebody in her house, and she can't be a part of it. It's
yeah?
So
She wants
she's in here supervising me. I've got an office manager right now.
she wants to go say hi. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, she can't. But no, I mean, um, you're right. I talk to people all the time right here in our local area in Central Kentucky who are still trying to do the super late model thing. And
Hmm.
these are guys that don't have very big budgets, but in the past
Right.
have shown that they have the skill and the ability to compete in the
Yes.
super late model ranks. And they talk about
Yes.
how the way things are today, it's impossible. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, man, where you saw guys like, um, what was the guy? Let's see, Miller. What was the guy's name that won not too long ago, the North South? I mean, I say not too long ago, but it was probably like early 2010s, maybe.
Matt Miller.
Um, yeah, was it
Matt
Matt?
Miller. I think it's Matt,
I don't know
or
if he
what?
won. That's
Is it Matt or
Eldora. He won at Eldora,
he
man.
wanted to maybe Darren Miller.
Yeah, Darren. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you used to see guys even at Eldora with the Dream and the World win it, and wouldn't be like household names.
Yes.
How long has it been since you saw that in any crown jewel? How long has it been?
Jimmy Mars. Maybe when
Yeah,
Jimmy Mars won his dream, he was this guy in a dually pickup truck and an enclosed trailer. It was like, he told me how what he say. He says the week before they wasn't even planning on coming. He said it wasn't even an option for him. He said it was something they wanted to do,
yeah,
but they still farmed and had stuff going on in business there. And he said it just wasn't in the cards for him. And he said some of the other farmers kicked in and it's like, hey, we know you guys want to go to this race. And he says, we're that I if the story's right, and I believe he told me, he said, yeah, they chipped in and they started helping us out with farming and stuff. So that freed us up to go, and just the stars lined up, and Jimmy Mars won the dream.
yeah, and like I'm just that those kinds of things used to happen quite
Mm-hmm.
often. The household names still won more often than not, and that's just
Yeah.
part of racing. I always
Yeah.
tell look, the main reason a lot of the times these guys win a lot is that they are really good race car drivers. Like
Sure.
that matters too. But I do think that I do think that the technology and the things that are already involved has taken some of the blue collar out of our sport already, and I just hope at some point we throttle that back a little bit to where we can at least keep the foundation somewhat intact.
Yeah, and it may not even come in the form of dirt late model racing. It might be something else that's I mean, I don't know if there's ever going to be anything that can be done about the pricing of stuff. Pricing is just it's stupid. It's crazy expensive. It's way too much. Everything is across the board, not just racing. I mean, groceries in general and gas to your car, everything is.
Oh yeah,
But it also goes back to, and I mean, every driver will tell you this too. The more that you do anything, the more you do it, the better you become.
yeah,
So guys that are able to race multiple nights a week and just have that kind of budget and can go out and just get better and better and better,
yeah.
man, those guys are just there. It's hard to beat with, a local or regional guy that does it once or twice a week at most, when you got guys that do this for a living.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, you got local and regional guys that are going to their day jobs 5 or 6 days a week. Some of them probably
Hmm.
seven to be able to afford to keep doing it. And you got other
Sure.
guys that are racing every week. Obviously, that makes a big difference too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean for sure.
Yeah. Uh, so what's been your Josh? What's been your biggest surprise for the stuff that we've talked about, the headlines and all this stuff? Like I said, we're halfway through the season. We're going to pick up and we're going to talk about some of the upcoming stuff. But man, what do you think is the biggest surprise that you've seen so far?
Well, I mean, I think to me the biggest surprise. I honestly, I thought it was the whole Huddy thing. We've already talked about that, but then our
RTJ says, "Hold my beer."
RTJ says, "Hold my beer." Yeah, I mean, absolutely dominating the sport, man. Like not, and to me, it's not even close. I mean, just total domination all the
Yep.
way leading up to the announcement that RTJ and SSI are parting ways, and you're like, man, that has to be like, is it April Fools? This cannot be true. It can't be. It doesn't.
What is going on here?
There's no logic to this. It doesn't make
Yep.
sense. It can't be true. It can't be happening. But yeah, I mean, it has to be. So far, we're halfway through 2024. I'm sure we're not finished yet, but so far, that's the biggest surprise to me. I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
And then you see the whole thing. The most shocking thing to me is this, and I don't know if you see it this way, but this is the way I saw it on social media and everything. But RTJ was like the villain. He was the villain. A lot of people couldn't stand RTJ because he's winning too much, right? It's
Yeah.
like you can't win too much. You're gonna have enemies anytime you win too much. And RTJ
Yep.
had become the villain. He had been in a few altercations with some other popular drivers just
Uh-huh.
recently. He was the villain. He was the one that people like to hate on social media.
Yep.
All of a sudden, this happens, and he's the hero out of nowhere, man. It
How does
totally
that happen?
flipped.
Right.
How does
I
it happen? I don't know.
I also feel like there was this, maybe I'm completely wrong, which it happens quite often. I feel like there was right before that, everybody was like, you try to name your top driver, who's the number one driver right now? And you had to either say RTJ or Bobby Pierce. I mean, those two were just both
Sure.
killing
Yeah.
it.
Oh
I
yeah.
do feel like that took a little wind out of the sail for RTJ because I've seen nothing but wins, wins, wins out of the Pierce camp.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny too, though, how these kind of shifts happen in the dirt late model world. It seems like lately, I would say over the last couple of years, it's been uh, one of those two drivers for the
Yeah,
most part. But it
yeah,
seems like one of them will go on a little stretch, and then the other one will take back over and kind
yeah.
of go on a stretch of some wins between
Sure.
RTJ and Pierce. It's been
Yeah,
that way for the last couple of years, but yeah, we definitely seen that with Bobby Pierce over these last few weeks. I mean, now all of a sudden he's winning everything coming and going. So, and those shifts just seem to happen throughout what I don't know. I'd say the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, Davenport had his run there
mhm.
where he won, record amounts. I was saying, so yeah, it seems like you've had drivers that'll just go on a stretch here lately, and it just and then they'll sort of fizzle out, and somebody else will take back over. So I think it's the dirt late model racing world we live in.
Yeah, for sure. It's I think we've mentioned before. We've talked about guys that just have those dominating. I don't know those big win years. Like we talked about Bloomquist, we talked about Davenport. Those big years. RTJ's.
Yeah,
It's man with the competition that's out there. I think those are getting fewer and fewer.
sure.
But so I see where we're at on time. So let's do this. Let's shift gears. We've talked about the first half of the season, the things that were completely shocking, things we have not expected. Man, there's still a lot of racing to go. I know I just got back from Summer Nationals doing a Hell Tour, which was a lot of fun, but I'm glad to be home.
Yeah.
Glad to be home. I'm looking forward to this weekend, headed to PDC. After that, we got the Battle of the Bluegrass. Are you guys going to come to the Northern All-Star Series race at Brownstown?
That's this weekend, right? Is that
No, it's
no?
next
That's
weekend.
August 3rd. Yeah,
August 3rd.
I
The
got you.
week before the North-South 100.
And that's Northern All Stars. Yeah, I mean, it is the week before. I don't know, man, because we got to get geared up for that North South 100, and that's always just a huge weekend here for us, and of course we always try to go up Thursday through and then leave on Sunday for the North South, be up there all 3 days, and I leave my wife here alone to take care of everything, and so try to give at least a weekend there or so in advance to preparation to sort of get some things taken care of here around the house. But I know that'll be a fun show up there for the Northern All Stars at Brownstown.
I completely get it. I'm kind of doing the same stuff. Are you guys camping? Do you guys have a campsite and everything? Or you guys
actually
doing the hotel?
Yeah, I wish we could do camping, but it's just North South's a little more difficult with camping. Like I know I understand why he doesn't do it, but I really wish Josh King, and I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me on this, but I wish he would just somehow come up with a way to do reserved camping spots, and because we rent a camper for the World 100 weekend. Literally, the only 2 times of the year I would use a camper would be North South and World 100, and having everything that comes with owning a camper wouldn't be worth it for those 2 weekends.
For those two events.
So we're gonna rent we've actually got the same hotel we used last year for the North South, and we'll just make the trip back, the 10-minute I think it is or so from I think it's the Quality Inn. Okay. And we'll do the hotel thing, and hopefully Wes will make it to the hotel all 3 nights this time. We'll see.
We don't want anybody getting sick either.
No, I don't want anybody getting sick, man. I'll tell you, it was crazy last year. It's what we said. If nothing else, we have 2 big weekends a year where we just kind of we pretty much work and do things through dirt racing and the bluegrass every weekend of the year. Mm-hmm. Same is true for the North South, but it's also a lot of fun for us. And then also with the World 100, we go up there for that trip and just have a good time. And last year for the North South, I literally could not go to the race on Saturday. And I swear it was not the Sunday flu. I'm telling you, I know I got a stomach virus. It was horrible. I couldn't get out of that bed, man, without just throwing up all over everything. It was terrible.
No good.
And I know it was no good at all. And then Wes goes up at the World 100, and he gets the stomach virus on the Saturday of the World 100 last year. So if we cannot get sick through those 2 big weekends, man, I'll be tickled to death this year.
Right. Well, speaking of having fun, I heard you guys just had some fun here recently. I knew nothing about this. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I know, man. We didn't have time to publicize it, to be honest with you. But yeah, we actually a couple weeks ago, I should say, we had an Ask Anything Wednesday on Dirt Racing and the Bluegrass Live, and one of the questions came up was one-on-one, who wins, Wes or Josh? And and I think Wes said on that show that if it was a foot race, he would give it to me, but if it was a car, 4-wheeler, or anything else, he said he thought he had that in the bag. So, I'll be honest. I took that to heart. All the way going up to getting in that race car this past Saturday night, I was just replaying that in my mind, him saying that. So we show up at Richmond on Saturday, and a couple of guys there is like, "Hey, man, we got the cars here for you if you guys want to race.
Let's do it."
And let's do it. And Bill Lapinos over there at Richmond was nice enough to let us do that at the end of the night. But it was really cool. They gave us 5 laps. It was a 5-lap shootout.
Yeah.
I offered Wes all night. I was begging him to take a half track lead at the start. I told him I'd give him a half track. He wouldn't do it.
I give you a head start.
I was going to give him a head start, man, half track. He said, absolutely not. I'm too competitive. I'm not giving you a half track. I want to go heads up. Yeah. So, I just went out there and let's just be honest. If you saw the video,
I saw the video.
Put it on him, man. And
you did, man. You just
so no mercy. I'm very competitive, and there was no chance that Worldwide West was going to beat me in that race. I mean, it wasn't going to happen. So, but it was cool at Richmond because they did the whole spiel, man, and It was pretty cool for us to see too. If you watch those videos that were posted on our page,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the stands were full or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but there was quite a few people that stayed around there to watch us duel it out. And so, yeah.
So how come you didn't jump on the roof? I was expecting the roof to get on the roof of that thing and square dance away on that thing.
Well, it's funny because you kind of play that whole thing out in your mind,
Yeah.
I drove for a few years. I was like a mid pack to the back of the pack kind of guy, to be honest with you. Just I didn't have any experience and only did it for a few years before I sold out. And I hadn't been in a race car for 4 years, but I grew up at Richmond my whole life. Even as a little kid going there, and you know how it is. Like it's for every kid.
Yeah.
It's your dream is to pull into victory lane, like. And I'll be honest, and look, Wes he's one of my best buddies, and
Yeah.
if he was racing anybody else there, I'd be cheering for him 100%. Right. But I would rather beat him than beat anybody else personally.
It makes it even better.
So pulling in victory lane there, and yeah, I don't know why I didn't get on the roof, man. Looking back on it, I probably should have made even a bigger deal about it than I did. But, it was cool because Bill Lapinos comes over there. He hands me the checkered flag, and Caution comes down and interviews me there in victory lane. So they did the whole thing for us, and I thought it was awesome. It was fun. It really was.
Next question I have about that is, when do the tire samples come back? Or when are we going to get clarification on that? Was there – no samples were taken, or what's the deal?
Yeah, no samples that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't know, man. No samples. But maybe I've thought about this. If Wes could get like I don't know, maybe some practice in at some point or something, and maybe we could go back out there at some point and make a race out of it.
Do a grudge match or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants it right now. I don't know if he wants it anymore, but yeah, maybe in a few years when he can get some more laps under his belt.
There you go. So, like we said, we got the Northern All-Stars race coming up at Brownstown. That's not this coming weekend. That's the following weekend, August 3rd. PDC at Fairbury. That's a big one. That's happening this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
North-South. That's just around the corner. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, absolutely. We call. I'll be honest. We call August the month of Kentucky because you have that first weekend there. Of course, the North-South 100. That's the biggest one of them all. Just a huge weekend. Love that whole event. It's so much fun. And then the weekend after that, you've got the Butterball Memorial at Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
And then the week after that, you got the Harold Hargrove Memorial down at Lake Cumberland Speedway. So August is just a huge month, and it's right around the corner. So I can't wait.
It'll be here before you know it.
It will. I'm ready.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. All right. Well, it looks like we're real close to that. Might as well call it that Dirty 30.
Might as well call it the Dirty 30, man. It's been fun.
It has. Josh, man, thanks for doing this, getting us some content. I'm gonna get this up, man. I got lots more stuff coming. I've talked to a lot of big names. I got bigger, better stuff coming. So just stay tuned, man. It's coming.
Absolutely. Sounds good, man. It's been fun.
All right, buddy. All Take care.
Yeah, you too, man. See you, buddy.
See you guys. Bye.